Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Animal Wisdom Tarot by Don Brunk, illustrated by Ola Leola. Website is cicobooks.com. Supportive oracle cards are Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Let's see if we can get her name a little closer. I didn't see a website on the outside of the box, but it is a Hay House product. This publication or print is from 2013, I believe. If you look her up, her name, her full name, and the name of these cards, I think you'll easily find her. I could have swore she had a website, but I could be wrong. If you're interested, of course. It might be fun just to search it out. Sometimes that's half the fun. All right, what do we have for Sagittarius? Is this a good or bad? Well, you have good ending card. All right. Oh, well. Might go... Okay. The wheel is turning. You know what? I think this is going to be one of those things, because I'm like looking at it like, is this good or bad? I think at first you may be like, oh, that's not how I wanted that to go. But when it's all said and done, I think you're going to be okay with it. This might be more of a dark blessing thing, just heads up. I mean, I'm not a Sunshine Rainbows reader. I just said this in the last one. Oh my goodness. I don't know. The energy's a little interesting. Whatever you're dealing with, somebody has rules. And the strongest card I'm feeling here is the Queen of Pentacles, which I think that pig is a beautiful color. I love the color of that pig. I don't think in real life they're that beautiful, but in this card they are. There's kind of like a fall energy in this too. This reading is valid for when you come to it, but this might go for a season. I think that's what we're saying. This situation may take a whole season, like 3 months to play out. And I'm getting there's information that's being sorted out. When I see the Queen of Pentacles, I'm also getting the challenge card of the Queen of Swords. So this is all in the same person from what I can tell. Someone is taking all the information that's being swirling around, rumors, facts, misinformation, new things coming in, things that have happened, things that might happen. Somebody's gathering all that information and they're slowly going through it and they're saying, yes, that's bull. That could happen, so let's put this over here until we get more information. That, even if it could happen, I would not let that happen, so we're going to put that in a different pile. They're sorting everything out. I'm going to give you a fair notice. This is very critical. This person is very critical. I feel like it's kind of going like that too. Like, okay, that's truth. That's a lie. That, even if it could happen, I won't let it happen. This, there's no way that's going to happen, even though people want that to happen. They're dividing it up. Okay, this people want this, but I can't do that, so I have to address that. People that no, that should never happen. There's all this. They're sorting it out. They're taking their time. They are taking their time. This may look like non-action to you because you're very busy. Somebody is sorting out every little thing. Be very careful with this energy. Because Sagittarius, you get going, you get things done, you just go from one to the next. Be very careful with this energy. I just feel like you might just kind of be like, for example, say you just were, make it simple, sorting out colors of cups, right? You're just sorting that out for whatever stupid reason. Because not for nothing, don't you get stuck in these little weird jobs once in a while? I think that's a Sagittarius thing too. You just end up doing these stupid little jobs once in a while. It just happens. So maybe you were sorting out these colored cups, and then all of a sudden somebody says, oh, do we have enough of those? And you're like, no, I think I need a couple more boxes. And then you go off your way. You might not realize they had no idea you were dealing with those cups. They had no idea what you were doing. And they're like, what do they mean? I was talking like, if we have enough time, like, do we have enough of these? I was like, enough of these computers. Like, why do we need a couple more boxes of computers? What are they talking about? And then this person transferred, like, I don't know, the Sagittarius said, do we needed a couple more? Like, not realizing you were not talking about the same thing. Because people, like, might cut you off and you think you know what they're asking, and it mismatch. Be careful. I'm just saying, be careful. I'm getting a mismatch of communication. Oh my God, it could get kind of brutal. The King of Fire comes in with this. There could be a big cranky moment coming forward because people are not on the same page. People are not paying attention. You were just doing this thing and they weren't paying attention to what you were doing, and you're like, I don't have time to sit down and like let's make sure we're all on the same page and let's all sort it out and let's all audit everything we ever did in our whole lives. You don't have time for that. You're like, I'm going from one to the next. I got this to do, that to do, that to do. I'm going, this to that, to that, to that. And they don't seem to take that into account. So if they ask you some weird off-the-cuff question, you're going to be like, well, here's the answer, because you were just doing the cups. Some stupid little job, and you're like probably annoyed that you had to do it, but you got it done, and you're like, no, I think I needed a couple boxes. Once I do, I'll be fine. They're connecting that in some weird way. I feel like there's miscommunication like that because you are very busy and you're not going to overly think about what somebody's asking you. You're just kind of like, I got things to do. Get out of my way so I can do them. And there comes this snag. Boof. Snag. Block. Boof. Like we just right into the wall. Bam. Boom. I don't know. And people are like, well, why did that happen? Well, the Sagittarius said we needed a couple more. For what? Where are we going to put them? I don't know. The Sagittarius said we needed them. And you're like, and they come back to you and you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I feel like that's how this is going to happen too. Be careful with this. You need a point of reference. If you have somebody, especially if this is a job thing, you need a point of reference so you can keep going back and talking to somebody. You need to have somebody as a point of reference, kind of like, well, I don't know, check with that person. Like, you need to be able to do that. Kind of like, well, I'm in the middle of this. Go ask that person. They know what we need to do. So if there's something you're working on, you need to have a point person to reference. Like, they know that you're sorting out the cups. You may know if you need more computers or not. You may know that answer. But if somebody's asking you quickly and you don't realize what they're asking you, you might give them the wrong answer without realizing it. And they're not really clarifying. I feel like that's the problem. It's kind of like they're in the computer room and they're like, well, there's computers all around us. Why would you not think I was talking about computers? Meanwhile, you just walked in from this room from the cups and you're just like, what are you talking about? I had nothing to do with them. The only reason I'm in this room is because I'm going through to the next place I have to go to. I wasn't even thinking about where I was. I was just on my way through. I wasn't standing here, hanging out here. Is weird miscommunication. Weird miscommunication coming in. You got a lot you're doing. You're trying to put stuff together. You're not thinking about what other people need. There's miscommunication. I keep getting at, like, I'm looking, like, the Queen of Swords is talking about, communication, and then this Moon card here is like things to do not understand. People do not understand. It's up in the ether. You got a lot working. It's because you're working so hard. You're not paying attention to what other people are doing. You're just paying attention to what you're doing. And they don't know what you're talking about. And you don't know what they're talking about. And you're not thinking it's an issue, though. Oh my gosh, it's freaking me out. This is another communication card, actually. The Peacock talks about the star energy. The star sometimes is Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign. After we take a 10-mile trip, there it is. The sixth chakra is the third eye chakra. This is why I feel like we need to get ahead of this. You need a point person. You need to tell people, like, before you do anything, big decisions, point check with this person, because I always tell them what I'm doing. I always, like, let them know where I am or what I'm currently working on. So before you make any big decisions, even if I tell you myself, double check with them to make sure we were talking about the same thing. Or even then, for example, you're walking through this computer room on the way to somewhere else and somebody says, how many do we need? You know what? I believe 2, but check with that person just in case they have some updated information. And they'll do that. Kind of like, I believe 2, check with that person, they might have the updated information. You may think, well, if it's cups, yeah, I gotta get 2 more boxes, I'm getting them myself. But try to step back and be like, I think this, check with them. I don't know, there's something weird here. I'm trying to find a way to get around this miscommunication. Because your victory and this other person's victory don't match. I'm getting the World card with your victory. Like, when all's said and done, I don't think you've done anything incorrectly. I just feel like the way communication is coming through, it's jacked up. It's not right. And I feel like you're not going to be happy. Ironically, when all is said and done, when the miscommunication ends up in, for example, 2 extra computers that weren't needed, you're going to be like, oh, that makes me mad because that money for those computers I needed for this over here, or I needed for that over there, or the space that those computers are taking up now that they've been set up, that was supposed to be this, and now it can't be because we got these computers. You might be the one who's really angry about how that turned out, kind of like that miscommunication ticked me off. You'll still succeed, you still have victory, but I feel like, that's not the victory you were looking for. You'll still make it work. I mean, Sagittarius is good with that. You'll make it work. And maybe in the long run it'll work out more to your benefit, but I don't know. It's not. I think you'd rather have that space for what you wanted for. And you have things planned out the way you want to do them, and it gets in your way instead of going along with where you want things to go. The 6 of Wands is coming in with that meditation, relax and rejuvenation. This is another thing, I think. Whatever the choice was that you make, because I feel like you're misunderstood and something goes the wrong way. I feel like somebody kind of gets out of a situation, or they get out of some type of responsibility. I think that's going to make you mad too. Kind of like, okay, we got a couple more computers. Now where that person was supposed to do this for me, that space is taken up, so they can't do that. They get to go do something somewhere else, but I needed that done, and now there's no place to do it. We got to be careful with communication, because with that Queen of Pentacles coming in, whatever gets chosen is going to stick around and cause an issue for quite a while. So we want to kind of get ahead of this. I think the overall energy, because I do think this is kind of confusing energy, you're going to be very busy. Somebody's going to ask people, I think it's going to be more than one. People are going to ask you quick questions. You're going to just fire off answers. The answers aren't going to match the questions. I just feel like they're not fully asking the questions in detail. They're asking you questions, but they're not detailing, like, how many computers do we need? They're not asking you that. They're asking you, how many do we need? And you're like carrying a box of cups, and you're like, 2. I need 2 more. Because you're carrying that box of cups. To you, you're like, well, I'm dealing with the cups. Obviously, this is what I'm talking about. To them, they're like, well, we're in the computer room. Obviously, that's what we're talking about. You're like, no. There's a miscommunication. A miscommunication is going to throw things off, is what I'm getting. That's the whole heads up of this reading, 10 minutes later. The whole issue is, like, there's a big miscommunication coming up that's really going to make you unhappy. And the way to get ahead of it is to, like, slow down, have a point person, tell them, I think 2, but check with that person to double check. Because when they go to that other person, I feel like this other person is going to be more about the details. Like, 2 what? 2 more computers? I don't know about that. They'll come back to you and be like, well, Sagittarius, so-and-so was talking to me, and they said that you told them you need 2 more computers? And you're like, no. What? And then it comes back around, well, we were going through, and I asked you, you said 2. 2 more boxes of cups. I had cups in my hand. I was dealing with that at the moment. I was talking about cups. You're talking about computers. We don't need any more computers. I'm good. Thank you. And I feel like this point person will call it out and be like, wait a minute. The Sagittarius told you that? Are you sure? Let me check with the Sagittarius. Otherwise, they might also be like, okay, wait a minute. You're talking about this? They might be the kind of like, no, we don't need 2 more computers. That's not right. They might handle it for you. They might. If you've told them to handle it for you. I think we're good. Alright, I think that finally kind of, I must have got the message across. Alright, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below with the same email. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.